Hello, my name's Peter and welcome to the Lost Colour Workshop. I'm the puppet and set designer for the puppet van and today we're going to do a nice little landscape painting. I'm just going to use primary colours, so I've got some poster paint, some red, yellow and blue, white and black. It's just poster paint, stuff you'd have lying around the house. We're going to use a few other little things, some glitter and a little glue spreader as well. So there's nothing special here. This is just a piece of card that I've got out of my workshop. I put it on this easel from the show just to so you can see it. But you don't need an easel, you could do it on a table. So we're going to start just by getting some blue and some white. So it's just some blue and white. I'm just going to mash it a little bit on a nice big brush like this. So I'm not going to worry about it too much. And if you want to pause this video at any time, please do, to go and find things or to catch up. But we're going to start by putting some nice little circles on here. Again, we're just going to get some paint on the cards here, we're not too worried. Just a little bit of paint on the card. Nice little circles with this nice big brush. A bit more paint, we'll just stab in some blue and some white. Lovely. There we go. So, a little bit like that. This is going to be our sky of our landscape. And down at the bottom here we're going to have some water. So again we're just going to put a little bit of blue and a little bit of white on our brush and we're going to pull in from the sides. Just going to pull in from the sides almost so they're touching. We're going to leave a little bit of space in between there. We're going to pull. And again, just a little bit of blue, a little bit of white. And pull them across like that. Beautiful. Will do. Almost to the centre here. So these landscape paintings, these are just, we're not too bothered about, especially at this stage as well. We're just going to get some shape and some colour on there. These paintings aren't rough, they're not going to go in a big museum. This is about having fun, this is not about doing things right or doing things wrong. That's not what painting and art should be about. It should be about just kind of letting loose and just relaxing. So we're just going to do a nice relaxing painting. So you can follow exactly what I'm doing if you want, or you can kind of go your own way, make your own choices. It's completely up to you, really. There we go. It's nice. Colour blue. I'm just going to kind of meet it in the middle a little bit. There we go. Lovely. And what I'm going to do as well, I'm just going to get a tiny little bit of yellow on the same brush. Tiny little bit of yellow just in the corner there. I'm just going to mix that in. I'm just going to get a little bit of green. As this is going to be our water, so it'll be a little bit green. Lovely. Just little touches here and there. Don't have to worry about it too much. There we go. Just another. So what we're going to do, the green appears, but we're mixing the yellow and the blue just on the bit of card, so we haven't had to mix the green beforehand. Lovely, there we go, that will do. Brilliant, fantastic. So this painting is all about layers. So we do layers upon layers upon layers. So this is our first layer. We've got the sky and we've got the water. And we're just going to dry this layer with this hairdryer. So there we go, lovely. If we don't dry the layers, all the paint will start mixing in together and it will just be one mixy mess. That's why we dry the layers. Next thing we're going to do is some clouds. So I've got this old, washing up sponge that I pulled out of my kitchen earlier today. I think this was under the sink. So and we're just going to paint some clouds with it. So you can make these as fluffy as you like. We're going to go and do little circles up here, make them nice and fluffy. Lovely, that looks nice, isn't it? Little fluffy cloud. You can put these wherever you so wish. We're just going to make little fluffy clouds on all of here. So I've got one there. Might put one there. Lovely. As fluffy and as marshmallowy as you can make them. There. Again, get a bit wild with this sponge. Clouds can be any shape you want them to be, because clouds are any shape, to be honest. You can't. There's no cloud as any kind of shape. And what we're going to do, we're going to add a bit of warmth to these clouds as if the sun is hitting them from behind. So I'm going to get a little brush, put a little bit of yellow. We're going to make a nice orange. So you make orange with yellow and red. There we go. Oh, I'll be a bit too red though. Add a little bit more yellow. Brilliant. I'm just going to put a little bit of warmth in these clouds. So I'm just going to have just catch little bits around the back, at the top, maybe a little bit at the bottom. We're just going to catch these clouds a little bit and define them a little bit more with this lovely warm colour. Ooh, lovely. Beautiful. There. A nice sunny day. I think I'm going to miss the sun. It's just coming into autumn now. And it's just starting to get a little bit colder. So that's our clouds. That's our sun, lovely, and we're just going to dry that off again just to make sure everything's dry. Lovely. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to add a mountain to our painting. So we're going to have to mix a lovely brown. So with my 3 primary colours, we're going to mix them together. We're going to start by mixing a purple, and you mix purple with a red and a blue, so we get a nice dark purple there. I picked up a bit of yellow. So once we've got a nice rich purple, we're going to add a bit of yellow in there. Perfect, like that. Just turn it over, just so it doesn't. There you go. We've got a nice brown colour there, and I'm going to add just a touch of black. You don't want to add too much black to anything really, because black is very overpowering. So we're just going to add that very gently. There we go, and we've got a lovely brown there. Obviously, if you've got paint in pots, you could just grab a pot of brown and on your way, but we're going to mix everything. I like mixing. And this is the time where we're going to start using our little glue spreader. So we're going to cut a little bit of paint with our glue spreader, and we are going to paint with this glue spreader now. So we're going to start by painting our mountains, just with our glue spreader. So we're going to have a nice big mountain. What I find when I'm painting is that if you've already got a sharp edge, like on the glue spreader, it's a lot easier to do sharp edges like a mountain, whereas with a brush it can be very hard. So I'm just going to grab the brown, make a nice little mountain top there, so just the edge of the mountain first, and we'll pull it all out once it's up. So there we go. Mix that. I might add another little one next to it, so I'm going to get a bit more brown there, mix a bit more, lovely, and then we're going to just put a bit more brown, lovely, there we go, tops of the mountain. I'm just going to spread that colour out so we've got a bit more colour. You can see it's not mixing in with that blue because the blue's nice and dry because we hair dried it. Lovely. So we've got this lovely little mountain range in the background, and we're going to pull it all the way down there. Might do a little bit more at the bottom as well. Lovely. Ooh, lovely, there we go. Lovely little mountain range there. So what we're going to imagine is, when you're painting, you have to imagine where the light's coming from. So I'm going to have my light coming from this angle here. So we need to make that, the right of the mountains, lighter, because that's where the light's going to be coming from. So again, with my glue spreader, I'm going to get a little bit of white. And I'm going to just put the snow on our mountain there. Nice. Again, so we want only the right hand side of the mountain to have snow on it. Well, to have white snow on it. We'll do a different colour snow in a second. To make it look like the light's coming from this direction. So we need a bit more up here. Like so. And again, just going to dollop the paint on. It's not about being precise, it's just about putting a load of paint there and making it nice and snowy and flumpy. That's what we're trying to aim to do. Lovely. And just again dollop it on. Lovely. I do love snow. I still have fascination with snow. Love it every time, which isn't very often anymore actually. I love just how white everything is and how bright everything is, especially at night when you look out, it's all white and you can see everything. It's lovely. So again, we've got some white snow there. I'm going to put a little bit of snow down here as well. On our lovely mountainside there. Fantastic. Lovely. Look at that. Brilliant. Lovely snow. So what we're going to do next is mix up a lighter snow. So we're going to mix up a light blue. So we'll go back to our blues, and we're going to just start. We've got some there. We're going to just start mixing some blue up. So what we're going to do, usually when you're mixing a colour with white, you start with the white, because if you start with a colour and try adding white to it, things can get out of hand very quickly, and you can end up with a colour which is not light enough and you've used 2 litres of white paint. So make sure you start with the white and add the colour gradually. Again, just cut it off with there. I've got a nice big dollop of light blue, and we're just going to put that the other side of the mountain. So the light's coming from here, and this will be our darker snow. Like so. Looking nice, looking good. Again, a little bit more on our glue spreader. Shadow in there. I'll put a little bit more there as well. Look. Brilliant. Looking lovely. Nice. I think that's a nicely defined little mountain range there. So what I'm going to do, just before we dry it off, I'm going to add some glitter, because I want my snow to be nice and glittery. So if I put it on while it's upright, oh goodness, if I put it on while it's upright, it's going to lose all of the glitter off down at the bottom. I'm just going to hold it up like this. I'm just going to very carefully just put the glitter on the white is my plan. You'll know if you've used glitter before that it goes everywhere, so you've got to be a bit careful. You could use any colour glitter you want. I'm just going to give it a bit of a tap and get that glitter off. We've got little shimmery mountains there. Fantastic. Brilliant. So moving on, we're going to do the bottom of this mountain just before we dry it actually, just to kind of give it a bit more mountain at the bottom. So I've got my brush that I mix my brown with, and I'm just going to put a little bit more mountain at the bottom. But we can have this a bit more hazy down at the bottom here. As usually when you look at mountains, you'll notice that the tops are really defined, and there's a bit more haze at the bottom. Might be a bit of fog, a bit of something going on. And I'm just going to put a dollop of white on my brush. I'm just going to have a bit of haze at the bottom there. It's still a bit wet. There we go. Brilliant. There we go. Fantastic. There is our mountain. Lovely. Beautiful. Brilliant. We've got our mountain. So let's dry that off so we don't smudge it. You know, if you don't have a hairdryer or you just want to take a bit more time, you could just, sit around, have a biscuit while it dries, and then continue. But if I did that, this video would be very long. So that's why I'm using a hairdryer. Otherwise we'd be here all day. So the next thing I'm going to do is make some trees. So I'm going to have to mix a green for that. A lovely green. So I'm going to get a little brush. I've got yellow and I've got blue. I'm going to mix the green down at the bottom here. Lovely. Brilliant. Usually if I want quite a dark green, there we go. We're not going to add any black, because if we added any black it would wash it out a little bit too much. There we go, nice green there. And we're going to have to start making decisions here about where we want our trees. So I'm going to start over here. I'm going to do a nice big old tree down over here. So I'm going to start by painting the trunk just with this green. So go down. Nice. Ooh, you can see there, caught a little bit of the mountain. That's all right. So I think these trees are going to be pine trees, evergreens. So what we're going to do, we're going to start at the top here, and we're just going to start tapping very lightly. We're just going to zigzag it down and get bigger and bigger as we go, just like pine trees. Lovely. When we could travel around more or less every year, the last few years, I've usually go to Norway and have go to the Norwegian lakes and camp amongst trees like this. Put up some hammocks, have a little camp next to the lake, do some wood carving, stuff like that. Made a few spoons last time I went. Really nice and relaxing. There we go, looking good, looking good. So we've got one tree there, maybe we'll put another one over here. So again, I'm just going to do the trunk first. I'll do one here. You can put trees wherever you like. You could do a painting of just trees, or just trees everywhere, trees all over the shop. It's completely up to you. That's the nice thing about these paintings. You don't have to worry too much about doing what's right or what's wrong. You just do what you want to do at the time. You can take a break, come back to it. It's completely up to you, really. Or just try and do it all at once. It's a nice little tree. I'll get a bit more paint on that down at the bottom there. Lovely. I might do another one there as well. Let's do another one. Why not? This tree can have a little friend over here. Trees have to have friends too. That'd be a nice big one. Okay, great. So I'm going to draw the trunk again. This is a lovely green actually. I do enjoy mixing my own colours. I know there's some painters who spend weeks mixing colours, just mixing colours, before they even start their painting. They're mixing and finding different colours to get all that detail, get those rich colours, which is really fun. Mixing colours is quite fun. Brilliant. One reason I want to do it with just primary colours. It's lovely, we've got a tree here, got another tree there, looking fantastic. What I'm going to do as well, whilst we've got this green, I'm going to just do a little bank in the distance. So again with this brush, I'm just going to do a little bank in the distance there. See if there might be something there at the bottom of the mountain. There we go, lovely. That's a little whisper of a tree up there. Fantastic. Lovely. And what we can do with that as well, I'm going to add a bit more green to my brush, and I might add just a touch of the brown, onto the brush. I'm just going to mix it here, just to dull it out a little bit. I might add a little bit of blue as well. Why not? Let's just go for it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take most of the colour off my brush there, scrape it off a little bit, and I'm just going to pull down and just do a little shadow, almost like a little reflection on the water there of that little background brush there. So that one's a little bit taller there, so I'll just do a little bit more there. And this one, little tree there. Fantastic. Looking nice, looking lovely. And then with our white and our little glue spreader, I'm just going to add a little water line to this back. So I'm going to have a little bit of white on there. I'm just going to add a little bit of white to the painting. So it just breaks up the line between the bank and the reflection there. Lovely. Brilliant. Alright, perfect. I'm now going to dry this off because we need to add a bit more detail to these trees. There we go, so we've dried those off, so we can add a bit more detail now. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to grab a brush, where's my green? There's my green. So I've got my green that I mixed in here. I'm going to add just a bit more yellow to my green. So we want a really yellowy green. There we go, brilliant. Ooh, maybe a little Perfect, there we go. Nice little green there. It's nice and bright. We don't add white to this, because if we added white it would kind of wash it out a little bit, and what we want is a nice bright green. So we're going to add a little bit more yellow. There we go. Brilliant. I'm just going to get a little bit on that, and I'm just going to tap in this lighter green on our trees. There we go. Lovely. A little bit thicker there, so we're getting the mountain through it. So yeah, just tap this lighter green over our trees, make it a little bit more sunny. I quite like doing little happy scenes. It relaxes me more. They look a little bit like somewhere I'd like to go. So I'll make it nice and sunny. Yeah, lovely. I'll do a bit more over there. Let me catch a little bit more yellow. Perfect. Again, we're being quite rough here. We're just kind of tapping them on. That's why I like using nice big brushes, is because you don't have to worry too much about the fiddly little details. You could go in and add those afterwards, I suppose, but I like to do big brush paintings. You don't have to worry too much. There we go. Perfect. I'm just going to do a little bit more down there as well, so I'm going to get a little smaller brush, but do exactly the same there. Lovely. Down at the bottom there. Beautiful. There we go. Looking nice. What I'm going to do just before we move on from the trees, I'm going to get a clean brush and I'm going to add just yellow. So I'm just going to dip that in yellow. Nice big brush. I'm just going to splatter them on there. Just get a bit more, again, even more bright. It's very bright up there, but I suppose the sun is closer to the sun, so why not? There we go, bit of yellow. We're just trying to get the highlights of this tree. You can even go off the tree a little bit, just to the fact there's more going on. Do this one as well. Lovely. Alrighty, perfect. Looking at the time, I want to do this in half an hour, so we are we're on track, but we've only got 8 minutes left, so we better start putting something for these trees to sit on. At the moment they are hovering in midair. So what the first thing we're going to do, I'm going to go back to our green. Again, I'm going to get a nice big brush for this. I'm going to just get some more of our green. I'm going to make it a little bit darker. So we want it a bit darker. There we go, that's it. A lovely green there. I might add just a touch of red. I'm just going to put a little bit of red on my brush there. And just mix that in. It'll just warm it up a little bit and make it a little bit darker, a little bit browner, which is what we want. And what we're going to start by doing is by putting a little kind of grassy bank. So we're going to just flick it a little bit. There we go, nice. I'm going to leave a little bit of a gap there, just so we can see it a little bit more. A little grassy little bank. So have a little, imagine what they could be. So it could be a little bit of grassy bank there, a little grassy bank right at the bottom there. Fantastic. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to pull this out a little bit more so it goes into the water a little bit. Lovely. Brilliant. So we're going to carry on adding a few bushes down here as well. Again, we're just going to flick this big brush so we get like little bits of grass. To add a little bit at the back. Lovely. So we're starting to build our bank here, which is really nice. So we're going to leave this water in, so it's almost like a little river into this lake we've got going. So I'm going to add a bit of highlight to this grass around here. So I'm going to add a bit of, I think a bit of orange might be quite nice, a little bit of an orangey green. So I'm going to get a lot of red there. I'm going to mix it a lot with the yellow. Ooh, that's a nice colour. touch of blue in there, just to get it a bit green. There we go, that's nice, that's nice. Again, I'm going to scrape some of that off on the side there. And I'm going to add a few highlights, almost like they're little orange flowers here and there. Again, you could spend ages on this with a tiny little brush doing it, and that's fine, that's completely a valid way of doing it. I'm going to just put them in loosely with this brush, just because I haven't got all the time. This is nice, nice little highlights here. I'm going to add a little bit more yellow there. Add a little bit more yellow. I might just grab a touch of white as well. Wow, look at that! Yeah, that's nice. It's nice and bright. Maybe a little bit more. Why not? A little bit of white. Brilliant. Ooh. This one's quite sandy, which is quite nice. Ooh, yeah. Lovely. Lovely. Look at that. Perfect. Lovely. A little bit more down there. A little bit more down here, I reckon. Perfect. Okay, so we need to start. I've got a few little grassy bits, a few little grassy things, but I think we need to start adding in a bit of brown, a bit of ground, because again, they're still kind of hovering on the water. So I'm going to grab another brush. I'll go back to our brown, which I think is this. I've run out, so I'll make a little bit more. Back to our brown, maybe. Yeah, we'll leave it a little bit lighter than the mountain. I won't put any black in, and I'm just going to start to add brown in amongst the leaves, just to cover up that blue, I suppose. Beautiful, like this. I'm going to go all the way around. Nice. Add a little bit more down there. Lovely. So basically we're just trying to cover up and give it somewhere to stay, but we could splodge it quite a lot. We're just defining where the ground is here. Beautiful, and then come down here. The bottom here. We'll put a nice little sweeping line in there. You can kind of do what you want here. It's just defining your little landscape. You could draw a little house if you really wanted, or something like that. It's your world you're creating, so you're making all of these choices, and you can make as many as you like. Brilliant. It's looking nice. What I'm going to do, I'm going to just blend that in with the green a little bit. So in fact, I'm not going to even change brushes. I'm just going to get the green on there and just put a little bit of green in with that, just to blend it in a little bit. Lovely. Perfect. Look at that, lovely. So as we did the little reflections here, I want a little bit of reflection of this bank down here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab a little bit of this brown. I'm going to add a touch of white like we did before. One now with a bit of yellow. I'm just going to pull it down slightly. I'll scrape a bit of paint off there. Realise we were almost at our time, so we'll just finish this off very quickly. A little reflection there. I'll put one there as well. Nice. Pull down. Got a little reflection. I'm just going to finish off this painting just by putting that little water line in that we did up at the top here. We're just going to put one in there. A little water line in there. Nice. What I'm going to do, I'm just going to add little water lines in the lake as well, as if a fish might have popped up. Make a little splash. Ooh. Lovely. Fantastic. All right, to finish off, I'm just going to put a few little flowers in here. I'm going to dry it off. Nice and dry, and I'm going to put a few little, I'm going to say pink flowers as this, as the show that we do on the top of the puppet van. I need to get a better brush than that. The show we do on top of the puppet van is about finding the pinkest pink, so I'm just going to mix some pink up with a bit of white, a bit of red. Lovely. Nice. And I'm just going to get one of the smallest brushes I have here. Put little pink flowers in, just around the place. This will give it a bit more place as well. But yeah, if you had a little bit longer, you could spend a bit more time putting these flowers in, maybe the leaves as well. But I'm just going to do it very roughly. Okay, and then a few more at the bottom there, I would say. Maybe a few up there. That little bush. Lovely, there we go. I think that painting might be done there. Beautiful. There we go. We'll call that done. Thank you for joining the Lost Colour painting workshop. I'd love to see what you guys have painted, so feel free to post them online at Half a String and share them with the Library Presents as well. And thank you so much for joining me here today.